Black man and Emily wear clothes. He didn't have a girlfriend, and Emily didn't have a boyfriend before. She says he's feeling jealous. She is hearing and feeling pulsating again. He asks, "What's going on?" She can see him. Ash is bringing supplies. One falls down to the bottom. He sees machines are here, leaves supplies there, and runs. He warns the black man and gets to the others, and they all leave. They get to the parking lot. They stop while the black man goes ahead to check. She's hearing pulsating again and robotic walking sounds as well. It's right in front of her. Ash sees it, and so do they all. She stops them. It gets close enough, scans, and returns without killing them. Bill asks how she did it. She doesn't know. In the Alps and mountains, the compass isn't working. It's showing the wrong directions due to some magnetic field from a spaceship. It's acting as a magnetic pole with a single polarity. Out of theory, no one has found them yet. It's a plane crash site. Jonathan checks ahead. Sasha gets to him and says Mom told them they were with him to England. He will try to save them. He says Noah thought he would. Jonathan asks what happened to him. Sasha says he was heavily bleeding. He tried but couldn't save him. There are bodies burned. It's a crash site. This ship must have crashed when they logged a signal on its signal. He says their soldiers are playing with the machine. He says machines deserve this. He says they would have done the same if they had found them before. He whistles for them to leave. All of them move. They reach a residential place with tents. He checks. Sasha is hearing pulsating, so he checks the warehouse. There's a killed machine. It moves and he gets scared. It still has some power left in it. He touches it and sees a girl lying there. Jonathan kills it. She gets him and hugs him. She only sees black and white and some shapes. It mostly happens when she hears that sound. The pulsating is still coming. They are going to Bill's university. The black man leads them, and they all follow him. A machine is here and does nothing. They reach the square and then a lot of vehicles as usual. There's a time written when the attack happened. They have reached the university. They are in. Jonathan and Chloe are on their way towards a big mansion. There's luggage outside. They get inside and Sasha goes upstairs. No one is here. They split up. The backup generator is still running. He says there are back exit doors and fire escapes as well. Bill leads a few, separating from the black man and Ash. He gets them to his laboratory. Tom sees rats. He says it's called Darwinism. The strongest gene survives. He doesn't know they're killing for just this reason. Emily says they want to live as well. They are afraid to die. She can feel it. Chloe gets to a room. It's huge and stuffed with precious items and books. She picks one of the medical books and sits to find something. She checks about dystrophy musculaire. After seeing it, she cries and exhales. She asks what he thinks happened to that machine. She calls herself a freak. He calls her beautiful. He has thought she was beautiful since the first time. She asks about his family. Government soldiers killed them in the village since they had differences and had been fighting. He joined the White Army militia to avenge his family. He says now she must be thinking he's a freak. She says she would have done the same. He says whatever is happening to her saved their lives. She kisses him and says, "You're not lost," and leans her head on him. He gets out a sensor. It has a processor as well. It works this way. Despite being blind, they can know where things are, and their consciousness is better than those with sight. It has a binary code written on it. The black man is on watch along with Ash. He argues with Ash about Emily. There's firing in the distance. They're sitting near a fire. He says bad happened to Noah and asks if he and Sasha were close. She asks why he's asking that. Sasha is here and thinks they're talking about him. She gives him cheese, and he drinks. In the forest, she is preparing to sleep. He asks her to keep her boots on for any urgency and gives her food. Before, there was no risk in her life. She drank less and exercised well, having only that worry. He wanted to leave the army after seeing what people do to each other. Before all this, Sophia was an addict of pills and alcohol. She took care of her and tried to help. Nothing worked, and it got out of hand, so she got her out of her house. That's why Sophia wasn't picking up her phone at the time of the attack, and she is missing. She lies down to sleep. Here in the mansion, there's a thudding sound. He gets up to see while she is deep in sleep. He gets to the dining area and hears someone. Sasha is here. He couldn't sleep. He says they might be more than lucky to survive, but don't know. He takes watch from here. Jonathan asks him to put it back. He says since they're dead, it's not stealing. Jonathan asks if they were talking about him. Sasha says yeah, about Noah. He says they'll have to stay together. Sasha says maybe not later. Jonathan asks him to go to sleep and leaves. Helen sees something she didn't want to. She wants to go to the washroom. Emily and the black man get into a room to do their thing. That is happening to Emily because of genetic mutation due to Stargard's. She has that gene as well, but nothing happened. Jonathan isn't Emily's real father, he's her stepfather. Emily doesn't know about it. Chloe gets to Jonathan and wants to use his bag for supplies. They fill their bags while Sasha hugs her, looking at him weirdly. He sees a picture, Jonathan's family, and strangely looks at it. He asks about it. Jonathan asks back, takes it, and keeps it. Sarah is looking for Emily. She finds them together and closes the door. She leaves and laughs. She's outside, they get out, and she leaves for watch. Sarah says she's worried about Emily, not her being pregnant, but what happened to that creature. She's scared and has to keep them alive. Emily asks, "So what did you do for it?" Sarah says, "Trying. What a good job." She leaves. Helen asks to sit with her. Sarah says, "If we have to die, we should die earlier." After seeing Dan's corpse, she was about to take sleeping pills, but didn't because of Bill. It's Tom's 15th birthday today. They used to have a party for him. Helen had seen some shops nearby. They all need a party, perhaps. Tom and Bill check samples of that sensor. It's a human DNA map. Machines are scanning it. They are on their way to the shops. Tom brings Ash water. Bill is asking for Helen and checking rooms. They are getting back with stuff and are in a parking lot. A woman is screaming for help. Helen runs for it. A machine is carrying her. She's pregnant. They're on their way. A man behind a car fires at it and runs out of bullets. The machine runs toward him and they get here. It gets to him and they hear his scream. They get away while the machine is coming behind. She gets her into a van. Sarah pushes it and Helen drives. The machine is on their way. It fires at them. The van kills it and it stops in the lot. The woman is dead. Sarah cries in sadness. Bill is here. He's worried for her. She cries and hugs him. They wash their hands. Helen cleans her face. She brings Tom to his room. They have set a cake for him. He blows it out. Emily gives him a soccer ball and hugs him. She gives him shoes. Bill gives him a gift from him and Helen. Ash gets up. Tom thanks him. She has brought something for Emily, maybe condoms. Bill eats cake and praises it. Sarah would want him to teach her how to use a gun. Tom sees a bloodstain on the ball and looks at her. In the huge forest, they are going back, and here in France, they are going through a forest as well. Helen gets to him. She asks how much he knows about it. They know more about them. They're scanning their DNA. She tells him about the pregnant woman. She has to go on watch and wants him to be with her. He picks up his plate to finish it. It is evening, and darkness is falling on the mountains. She has a gun. He stands with her, hand in hand. It's a moonlit night and they're back at the observatory. There are no guards. Objects clatter. He stops them and leads them. They split their attention, and here is a girl. He asks about his men. She says no one was here. It's Sophia. She embraces him and cries. Sasha is opening Jonathan's bag and gets that photo. He stares at it for a while, maybe the entire night.